Welcome everybody to Fist Truck TV.
Welcome. Last we left off, unfortunately, the
lost.
legacy of X Milcom died.
Yep. You lost. Trash.
Alongside my fucking attention span that didn't pay attention to the part where they said run back and forth.
Exactly. What was the point of collecting stuff like mushrooms and coconuts?
Oh, well, they're
Do they
gonna
make you do that?
Yeah, they want a couple coconuts, a couple fish, and like a mushroom or two.
What do you get for collecting coconuts? I remember like collecting a lot of coconuts.
You don't need to collect a lot of them, but you get to progress. That is what you get. Oh, bump. Okay. So their plan, because they are kids, is that they're going to collect just a handful of these things, and it'll be enough to last them a whole trip on a raft.
Exactly. They're running away from home.
Yes. Let's see. Is there is there a strat to this? So last we left off. Well, I know that. It's just a way to make sure that they do show up. How did I just hit this one again? Oh my god, they're all shitters.
You're bad. No.
So yeah, last we left off last episode, and I'm gonna just like, as per usual, try and attempt to spark notes what we were last talking about. But it was we were talking. Oh, there we go. Oh, yeah. I hope it was just. Oh, yo, Sora. Yeah. Is that everything? We were talking about today. Let's see, one seal egg. Okay. Three mushrooms, 2 cupcake, got 3 fish. And fill this up with,
did you get 3?
No, I got 2 fish.
Now you have 3 fish.
Oh,
that's a starfish. Doesn't count.
Anywho, so we were talking about the Elden Ring DLC. The fuck do you get back? You don't want to climb.
Just turn around.
You were talking about. Oh god. Okay. I mean, you were talking about the Elden Ring DLC, and that it is very good, but also it's kind of one note. Well, at least it's just like everything is hard. And it's like kind of funny. So from my perspective, and that is pretty much practically where we left off. Fucking shit. Practically where we left off at.
Go through the cave. Man.
And there's a cave. Look at that. Why didn't you say that sooner?
I thought you knew.
So fuck my brain. So yeah. It was kind of funny when it came out, and everyone was like losing their mind about the difficulty. And I think by the time that conversation... Oh, yeah, it was
review bombed.
Yeah, by the time that conversation had sparked, like, I beat it. So I was like, oh, it was definitely, once again, spoilers abound for the DLC if you haven't played it yet, so just like that, though. The Radon fight was, and this is also repeating something that was said last episode. Anyway, Radon fight was in my opinion, very, very good. I saw a bunch of people raging about the lasers.
The seagull egg was up there. The tree you were just trying to get up.
Isn't there a mushroom in here or something?
No.
Yes it is. Yes, it is. Okay. Oh yeah, fucking. Some. Is this where the guy shows up for the first time, or is it like when everything goes to shit? Okay.
No, it's right now. Who's that dude?
I was hoping I'd find a little boy in a cave.
So this is the heart of this world. You can tell because there's a big fucking door.
There's a door here. Yeah, we always wonder what that door was for. Did you ever try opening it? It wouldn't open.
We never had a key.
Oh, shit. What about this? And he gives him a fucking breaching charge.
Who's there?
I got crack. Would you like crack? I sell crack to the youth. What do you like?
What are you talking about?
Shit. Yeah.
Imagine going up to a kid and just saying,
Just saying all this shit.
the government's spending too much money on F-35s. What? What are you talking about?
Proceeds to explain like the anatomy of the fucking F-35 fighter jet shit, and then he's like, "You are right."
And then he finds out later. When he's older, he's like, "Oh, that's what that guy was talking about." The F-35s do block out radar and can fly under it.
Yeah, well, you'll see. I'm gonna get out and find what's out there.
Fucking wow! How does he find out? Does he start fighting one, or does he fly one, or something?
He flies one. Yeah.
Okay.
He gets drafted, and it's like, oh, I'm glad I met this man in the cave. Tell me about F-35s. And then he becomes top of his class. And
I don't think we have enough.
Heartless.
You just see him run away. Anyway, so that was saw a lot of people getting pissed online about the Radon fight, and it was like, I don't think it was. I mean, once again we talked about this last episode, but compared to Millennia, I didn't feel like it got cheap.
Right. It was a very hard fight, but it was a good fight, though.
Yeah, it was a good fight. Like those when he starts swinging, all the lasers come out. It's like they are dodgeable. They are dodgeable, and it's like not like crapshoot dodge either. It's like you just
and the build that I had was really good at like actually tanking those
the
one-hit
holy
attacks.
damage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking.
Because I had
I
like
just
a bunch
assumed
of
they were
resistances
one shots. Okay.
Hit the tree. Hit the tree.
What a god.
Hit it again. Hit it again. Keep hitting it. Keep hitting it. It's doing nothing.
It's not
You have to go on the other one.
Yeah. I don't think
Now
I
you have
could-
to get on the thing.
What thing?
Yeah, that thing.
The door frame?
Yeah, the door frame. Jump from the tree onto the door frame.
It's just so hard to see. It seems wrong.
Jump to the tree onto the door frame.
It just seems wrong, man.
You're wrong.
Been a while since I played this.
Oh wow.
Maybe I do just.
You did it.
Oh!
No, you have to go on the door frame to get onto the tree, and then to jump to the other tree.
Do I?
Huh? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No. You fool.
Oh, you got me good there, fucker.
Stupid. Fucking stupid.
Anyway,
No.
so after playing through the DLC twice, and like I would argue that the most egregious boss in that whole DLC is Man on Pig.
Man on pig.
And
Man on. Again, maybe like I didn't even attempt. I don't know. I was just
yeah,
so,
no, you're just like over it at that point.
yeah. By the time you get to Man on Pig, at least for me, I was just over. I was worn out from the DLC, and I just wanted to get past it. So I called in Fist and was like, let's just mollywop this dude. I don't think I even gave it more than one try.
I think it was
before
it was one try.
Yeah, and I was like, dude, Man on Pig can go eat a dick. I don't want to fight him right now. I just want to get past him.
Yeah, which for those who are wondering, the boss is we're talking about is Commander Gaius.
Yes, the infamous
Commander Gaius. Yeah, that's
Who
really
the
thing.
fuck is that?
That fight in itself, the fight taken in a vacuum,
Just kidding.
is all right. It's fine. It's it's a tough fight, but it's all right. It's definitely not the hardest fight. Far from being the hardest fight in the DLC. But it's it's fine. It's a solid fight. It's definitely better. Like
No matter where I go,
if you're just trying to do the fight, I would say it's definitely better than fighting like a lot of the overworld bosses they had, like the Death Bird or the fucking like the
Yeah.
you know, the worm or something.
Sora?
And on that day, Sora fell on hard drugs.
Yeah.
Once we set sail.
I just can't wait until once we set sail, go through our 3 mushrooms, 1 egg, and like 2 coconuts, and have to start eating each other. It's just like, you just eat all that shit in one meal, and you're like, oh, that was a good meal. I don't know how we managed to cook it on this raft, but we did. All right, what's for lunch? It's just like, well, that was everything we got, and just immediately Riku starts biting Kyrie on the head. I need more.
There's someone with a key. Key to survival. Huh? We need a key, or we're doomed. We're the Traverse Town. Find Leon. He's from Final Fantasy VIII. He'll point you out in the right direction. He has a sweet gun blade.
Cloth.
Would you apologize to Minnie for me? Thanks, pal.
Oh dear, what could this mean?
It means we'll just have to go
Like,
Just fucking rabid Donald.
you're right. It sounds like, man, it sounds like when you just turn the car radio on to a station that doesn't exist. Like, Goofy's like, huh, I wonder why the king had to write in such cryptic bullshit. Is there a mole in the castle? And they all start getting mad suspicious of each other.
Nobody responds after like 30 days, and then the King Mickey comes back to see what's up. Hey, you never went to Traverse Town. Oh my God! He opens up. Everybody's dead because they
Lord of the
killed each other.
please help the
So, anyway, yeah, the Man on Pig. So, Man on Pig, the problem with Man on Pig, is that, and once again, referencing something I talked about last episode, that there was some interview done, I think, after Dark Souls had come out, and saying, like, what was Miyazaki's approach to difficulty, and it was that, like, oh, you use difficulty to tell a story. So, like, the highs and lows, in itself tell a story, because that's, like, the kind of shit that sticks with you, right? So,
Sure.
if everything is hard, well, that's the thing, is that if you look back at Dark Souls, he is
No.
he is, yeah.
I'm just saying in context of Elden Ring.
Yeah, no, I mean,
DLC,
I think
no.
that got lost. I'm not gonna lie. I think that should have been lost. Because I look at Dark Souls, and it was like Smooth and Ornstein were, the hardest thing. And you go, and once again, I just know I'm repeating stuff, but, just to, because I know that talk kind of got cut short last time. Smooth and Ornstein were like the hardest thing in that game for a lot of people. And so that's why everyone remembers, like, oh my God, I remember when I got there. And it was like the build up to it. You get to this area that looks nothing like anything else you've been to before. And like super, everything's like golden or marbly and all kinds sorts of shit. And then you get up to Smooth Ornstein. It's like these 2 dudes, and they have a phase 2 where it's even a second boss or some shit, where one of them gets supercharged.
Right.
And that's the only boss that does that in the whole game. The only boss that does that in the whole game, and that was like a huge oh shit moment. And before then, I mean, obviously it depends on how your playthrough was, but yeah, like Sen's Fortress with the Iron Golem on top, which was a pretty easy boss. It's just that it was had a little gimmick where you could get him to fall off. But the thing is that Sen's Fortress was super trolly. So while you're going through Sen's Fortress, you're getting just fucking, like griefed left and right with traps and all sorts of shit. And then you get to the Iron Golem, and depending on who you are, at least this is how it was for me, because the Iron Golem was nowhere near as stressful as the rest of the dungeon or whatever, as the rest of Sen's Fortress, it was like a relief. Right?
Yeah.
And those are ways where, and like there are ways that you could tell that, like telling a story not in the literal sense where, you're like, like this, right? But just more, you know, stories, like your own stories of when you played the game.
Right. Story through combat.
Yeah. And like playing the DLC, I feel, oh shit,
Wait. Oh shit.
got her one line.
Yep, and she's dead.
You just hear a contract go off.
We have no more use for you.
The one heartless with a fucking 9mm.
Goose boat. And Kyrie's.
Now, were they going on a raft or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think you can hit them.
So yeah, playing the DLC, like the Radon fight was, I think, the biggest moment for that, you know, difficulty through storytelling thing, because like you already know who Radon is because you have to beat him to even get access to the DLC. So you get him in like his prime, you're like, oh, this is cool, and you also have him with fucking Miguel there. And you know, it's like, oh shit, you know, I heard a bunch of people talk about Miguel, but now Miguel's here. And so that, I think, was a perfect moment to have something that's like crazy hard, which they did. But then it was like everything else was also really hard. Not as hard as that, but also really hard. And it's like it's a good and a bad. The good is that with Radon being so fucking hard, like the rest of the DLC is kind of preparing you for that, except it kind of feels like it doesn't. but that's whatever. That's whatever. Like you have, you know, like Mesmer is also a hard fight, and you know, Dancing Lion being like the first, I would say the first major boss. You know, that one, I think it's like when I first got there, I was just like, holy shit.
Apparently there's a NPC in the DLC that like is behind the lion. I didn't meet that one.
Behind the lion?
Yeah, it's like there's this lady controlling the lion that brings the lion to life.
Oh,
yeah. There's more to what the hell she's doing.
Oh, okay. Are you talking about the one that talks with you only if you're wearing the lion head?
What?
There's an NPC that only talks with you if you're wearing the lion head.
I don't know.
Okay. Anywho, you know, the what was that one boss? It was Rolana, that one with the two swords. That felt like,
oh hell yeah,
that one, like that fight was cool, but also I'm just like, it felt to me when I got there, I was just like, damn, what the fuck? Like, in my opinion, that's the second hardest fight in the DLC.
Oh yeah, for sure. And like for me, for my, like I was doing a magic build, impossible. Like,
yeah,
no way.
Because like I assume a lot of people say Mesmer is like up there, but the thing is that when Mesmer goes into snake mode, it's like easy mode.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden now at the end of every snake attack, you can beat the shit out of him. And
yeah, second form's definitely, you have more attack time in between attacks.
Like I remember, let's see, when I got up to him, it took like, you know, quite a few tries to get him to second phase, and the first time I got to second phase, everything started just fucking like, you know, the camera went nuts, the snakes are, but the camera was actually all right once like I actually had a chance to process what was going on. But he went to snake mode, started going nuts, I got killed like almost immediately. Second time I got to snake mode, he died.
No, it definitely took me way more tries for that, but it's like, as opposed to the whatever her name is, the two-sword lady.
Rolana, yeah.
Yeah, it was like, I was doing enough damage to like not have an impossible time. But what the fuck's her name again? You just said it. Rolana.
Yeah, I assume there's some sort of thing between that boss and Renala.
Yeah,
I have no clue, and I read some of the item text, but I didn't get anything off that.
Yeah, she like if you're doing a magic build, she's fucking.
Oh, yo, it's him again. My favorite part about this boss is that like, and watch it, I'm gonna die when we get to the end of the game. But that he just does the same shit. Like,
yeah.
In between now and the end of the game. Oh god.
If you had parry, you could parry this back.
Yeah, if I also grinded Riku for fucking like 100 episodes, I could do that.
Yeah, but if you chose a shield, you would have got parried by like level 2 or some shit.
Fuck your shield. Fuck you, bro. I want to just hit more things or do more damage per hit.
You know what this asshole has in common with Elden Ring? You can't lock onto his legs. What? All right, so yesterday I was playing Elden Ring, and you know the lightning dragon that comes down when you get to the Altus Plateau, and then just bounces and runs away.
Oh, yo, slow mo. Yeah, the dragon. Yeah.
Why is it so? All right, how did I articulate this yesterday? You can't lock onto his legs anymore for some reason.
You can't
right?
lock on.
He's a dragon.
If I'm not mistaken, it's those. Yeah, it's those dragons where you can't lock onto the legs. Those
So
lightning
what?
dragons, but the other dragons you can.
Yeah, but like,
What the fuck is going on?
there's no reason why you can't. You can still hit the legs. You just can't lock onto them, so it's just like harder to hit. So it just feels like it feels stupid.
Yeah.
That you can't lock onto the legs. And the hardest part of that boss is
knowing what the fuck is going on while you're trying to hit
knowing
him
what
in
the fuck
legs.
is going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
It's like that boss would be significantly easier if you could lock onto the legs like normal.
Yeah.
But that's like putting that as an enemy where you just can't do it a regular mechanic you can do with the same type of enemy feels whack.
Yeah. Like, I mean, at the very least, what they didn't do was give that same boss like like big AoEs on every single one of its attacks, like every single one of them. At least they didn't do that, right?
I think they did do it though.
Yeah,
right?
that's a joke. They did do it in the DLC.
Okay.
Where you find one of those lightning dragons and you can't lock onto him, except not every single one of his attacks
This isn't a
has a
dream.
gigantic AoE that reaches all the way to the back of his feet.
Yeah.
Whatever. So anyway, I guess to try and fucking get to the end of this. So Man on Pig, I remember getting to Commander Guys for the first time, walking outside, and then just, this dude shows up and attacks with the boss, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
like it felt so random that he was there. Like story-wise, I don't care. I'm just saying pacing-wise, it felt so fucking random that he was there.
No,
Because
you-
it is. Just saying.
and like what's past him? The view
Like a
of
bunch
tree.
of that and a bunch of tree fragments.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like
I'm in another world. Bah, 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 bah. Oh yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, the tunes.
yep, yep. You'll be hearing this a lot.
Oh, it's Sid.
Oh
Final
wow, I
Fantasy
forgot
VII
Sid was in this game.
Yeah.
Popeye.
I'm not a kid, and the name's Sora. Okay, give me your money. And so it's like you run into Man on Pig, and it just kind of, you see it, and he kicks the shit out of you, and you're like, okay, hey, it's another tough boss, but like, I don't. Everything is like this. You need your peaks and your valleys or whatever kind of
it's
thing.
like
And
it's
just
this dude is as hard as one of the hardest enemies, and it's like it's I don't know if he was in earlier in the DLC, because he's a nothing enemy. There's other than him being hard, there's nothing to him. There's no context around him. It's just a dude on Pig.
Yep. And it just doesn't like it's just like no build up, no nothing. So like when I showed up there the first time, I was just like, what the fuck? Like, oh, okay, whatever. And I did the fight. And I was like, that like it's a solid fight, but it's just like the once again the placement or the pacing of it, where you're just randomly exploring and then there's a boss there and it doesn't feel like there should be one here.
Yeah.
As opposed to what's gonna sound like Radon or Sumanorsi for Dark Souls, where like there's clearly a build up to this, and then and so I remember my second playthrough of the DLC, I got up to Man on Pig again, and pretty much same thing that Snarf just said. Like I got up to him and I was just kind of over it. I was just like, yo, I'm done with this. And the thing with the DLC is that it took me like probably about, not to do everything, but just to beat it probably took me like 10 hours or so, which
Yeah.
I'm just gonna guess is on the lower end compared to other people. And like I remember fighting Radon, and it took me like 3.5 hours to beat him. I'm like, yo, it took me this long to beat him, and like when I play the game, I just like the way I like to play is just like I'm the same. Oh, whatever. Watch it play through on the channel. That's how I like to play the game. Like it's pretty much just melee builds, and just play by myself. So,
Right.
I'm like, it took me that long to fight Radon, to beat him. I can only imagine how bad this might be for other people. And like, but I know I'm not like the fastest person to beat this shit, but I just assume I'm once again on the lower end or like the lower half.
Right. I definitely think I've probably put 30 hours into the DLC, maybe.
Yeah, I think to like do and see everything or practically everything, it took me like about 20 or so.
Yeah.
I know, like around the neighborhood of 20. And while I had a good time, I just can't help but think like, the problem with this is that the way they're handling the difficulty is like in the base game. And I remember watching a video from a channel that I frequently watch and enjoy, where they're talking about, hey, FromSoft must have had a hard job balancing the DLC around such a wide variety of builds, because you'll have like random schmuck builds, and then you'll have people like, spamming, the dagger that you've recently become acquainted with, and and like the mimic tier, and and like doing bleed frost shit or some shit like that. It's like, yeah,
They balanced it by giving them copious amounts of health.
Yeah, and it's like, well, not only copious amounts of health, there's also fucking like copious amounts of damage.
Yeah.
And the thing, fuck, this is where it's gonna happen. I am going to get lost. Okay, do I need to go in
You're not
hotel?
gonna get 101 Dalmatians?
Man, fuck, why did they even go in the box in the first place, man? So like I saw it when someone said that, or when dude said that in the video. It's like, well, I respect where you're coming from for that. Wrong, that's wrong, because that's the point. You don't balance around the hyper optimized builds. They're hyper optimized. Let them, if you hyper optimize your build to be able to nuke a boss or some shit like that, let them. Who cares?
Yeah. I mean, I've definitely seen videos of people one-shotting like all the bosses in DLC.
Yeah.
So,
it's like
you can still optimize.
Yeah, you can still optimize. But I'm talking about like for the people who want to do like bleed frost, like once again, maybe not pop 1 million buffs, but like do bleed frost and some of the mimic tier and shred a boss, right? The people who want to do that, because in the base game, doing that made shit easy, which is fine. That's the point. That's why the games don't have a difficulty selection, which I still find dumb, to be honest. But like, oh fuck, wait, is it already boss time? Shit. Is it? I thought what's his face fights you? Doesn't Leon fight you at some point? I don't I am lost. So that's the point, is that it's easy when you do use all that stuff. That's why they don't have a difficulty selection, because if you're willing to, experiment with some shit, experiment with things within reason. You can make the game easy for yourself, or easy enough. And what that does in the DLC is make things less hard, which is not the same as making things easy.
No, like the for the Radon fight,
does mimic tier do shit there? Like, I don't know.
Well, I didn't. I at that time I wasn't using summons.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know much about it, because like definitely on this new playthrough I'm using summons. I'm trying to use everything that the game has to offer, instead of just like going straight through it with one type of thing. So like I'm crafting things now. I'm using summons. I'm using items. It's a fun time.
Yeah.
Just learning what all the things that the game has to offer, and like, there's a lot of. It's not optimal. Like, I'm doing a Dex parry build, and there's way easier ways to get through the game.
Yeah.
and I kind of regret just putting into Dex because like I remember the strength build that I was doing. It's like this just makes the game so much easier.
Yeah.
Especially when you're fighting big bosses, because you can do damage and you can stun people. Whereas, you know, if I'm using a rapier, I try to do a jump heavy attack, I poke, and I miss my target 90% of the time.
And there's all the things that you can't parry.
Exactly. But for the Radon fight, in the DLC when I was using the mage build, then I added on Scarlet Rot and Frost damage, and like that was like my saving grace, and I had like a bunch of resistances to his attack. That fight is when I really got into
and they'll keep on coming at you.
like building for the
As long as you
specific
continue
boss,
to wield
because he was just too fucking hard.
Why would it choose?
Yeah, like, and that does help, but still, you know, I don't know. I'm just thinking like,
Now,
once again, what
see that
it
Keyblade.
did to the fight was not
There's
make
no
it
way
easy.
you're getting
It made
this.
it possible, right? Like, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, yeah, but like, I still
me
like
up.
the way it turned out.
Okay.
Just like it made me use mechanics that I otherwise wouldn't be using, and like I was me knowing lore and shit, I was like, he's got to be super susceptible to Scarlet Rot, and like he was, and I was like, yeah, nerd.
Yeah, you're trying.
And that's the only time I used Scarlet. I only had one Scarlet Rot spell, and that was the Millennia bulb thing.
Yeah.
If you had parry, you can parry back his fucking
Hey, you found it.
Those
Nice
shots.
going, Leon.
Oh, well,
back at him.
But the faster I lose, the faster they
Yeah.
digress.
She's not
It
looking
looks
at
like
it.
things are
She's
working.
just
Well,
looking
now
off
she's
into-
looking at him.
A lot.
Anyway, yeah, like when people were getting mad about the difficulty, I was like, yeah, I could, yeah, you know, I think they kind of passed the point of
Yeah.
tolerable difficulty in this, especially considering how much of it there is.
Yeah, definitely. They had a point. It was a good point. I don't think it should have been review bombed.
Yeah, no, that was just dumb. It was dumb.
Yeah.
Especially because when you see what people were complaining about, it was like, oh, bosses have really long combos and you can only hit them once. It's like, you dipshit, that was how it was
They
in the fucking
always-
base game.
Yeah,
It hasn't always been like that in general, but in the
this
game, in
has
Elden Ring itself.
egregious amount of combos.
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck? Like, oh, there's nothing new. Except the only thing is just that, you know, once again, things are so hard that the shit that you can normally do to, like, circumvent that or cheese it, if you will. I don't want to say cheese because it makes it sound like if you use a mimicry or something that's, like, bad. It's not.
Right.
But ways they can use to make it easier for yourself don't quite work the way that they used to. So now you have to like contend with it. And the thing is that, like, you know, once again, using Radon as an example, if you just are going there trying to use a mimic tier with any of your builds,
Excuse me.
all it takes
Did the
is like
king send you?
5 seconds of him looking at you for it to be over.
Jesus Christ.
Like, if you don't know how to dodge his shit.
Yeah.
And for a lot of
Come on,
people,
lazy bum. Wake
for a lot
up.
of people, I've learned is that, you know, that's not how they play the game. Like, they don't play the
You
game
okay?
dodging every single one of a boss's attacks and like,
I
you know,
guess.
learning a boss's
Those
pattern, that kind of
creatures
shit.
that attack
And that's
you are
not, and I'm not saying that
Nor
as
should
like
you have to.
they suck.
It's your heart
What?
they really want.
Nor should you have
Yeah,
to.
you should not have to. You don't have to. That's the thing you do if you want
I'm
to.
so glad that you're
Right.
okay, Kyrie.
But I feel like DLC kind of forces
What are
you
about?
to do that.
I'm the great
Oh, yeah.
ninja you.
Is what I'm saying. And
'cause-
like for me
'cause
that
most-
works because that's how
Yeah,
I play
most
the
of
game.
the attacks,
I think
like
you
a
might
lot
have
of the
overdone
attacks,
it,
just
Squall.
one shot you.
Yeah, really,
So
not
it's
one
like,
shot, but
you
like
know,
two
they
attempts, yeah.
bonk you, and then you learn like, oh, if I don't dodge that, I'm
Yeah.
out of the game
We
completely.
had to get it
Yeah.
away from you to shake
And,
off those
um,
creatures. It turns out
And you know, like
that's how they
for
were
me that
tracking
worked
you.
out because that's how I
It
played
was
the
the
game
only way to
already. But
conceal
a
your
lot of
heart
people
from
didn't
them.
play that way. And like one
But
of
it
our
won't
friends
work
was
for a while.
messaging me his journey
Still,
with
it's hard to
Radon,
believe
and it was
that
like
you, of
fucking
all
like
people, are the chosen
some time after he messaged me, he's like, okay, I finally beat him. I was like, yeah. Yeah, it's like I remember specifically, we were in a Discord and we were having a conversation about
I
it,
suppose beggars can't be
about the
choosers.
difficulty, and he's just like, "Oh, you see all these
Start
people
making
complaining about the
sense.
difficulty," and it's just like,
going on
"Oh,
here?"
you don't know, you don't know."
Okay.
And I'll tell them, like, take it from me, man. I think the way they're voicing their anger is dumb, but there is a point there to be made.
Yeah.
And then when dude got up to Radon, he would proceed to start raging.
When the heartless
I'm like, told you, I told you.
everything changed.
Yeah.
The Heartless?
The ones who attacked you. You remember?
Those without
You gotta
hearts.
love the
Oh, wow.
faces, man.
This is funny.
The darkness in people's
They're not
eyes.
even looking at each
That's
other.
what attracts
You don't remember,
And
man?
there is dark.
You
I
don't-
don't know. It's been
Oh.
a long
within
time.
every
I always
soul.
remember the difference,
Hey,
the two different
have you heard of
faces. You
someone
had
named
the not
Handsome?
giving a fuck faces, and then you had the
And Sam?
the
He was
you know
studying the
very
heart.
giving a fuck faces. These Final
He
Fantasy
recorded all of
characters
his
never
findings
get the
in a
giving a
very
fuck
detailed
faces. At least not in this game. I think in Kingdom Hearts 2 they actually started
Pages are
caring,
scattered
but
everywhere.
in this game they will always have the
Too many
paper
words.
faces.
Right.
Oh, then maybe the king went to find them.
Yes.
Damn. Goofy
Those were
and
my thoughts,
Donald are fine. Everyone else
Find
is.
Well, it's because you can't
real
make if you made their faces flat, it wouldn't work. But like
That's right.
right now,
Keyblade.
I think Goofy and Donald are kind of in like their version of flat face mode
Right.
because you could
Heartless
just have their
great
mouths
fear
kind
of
of
the
flap
Keyblade.
and it looks like it
That's why
fits.
they'll keep coming at me.
But then you'll notice the
No
difference once they're actually in a cutscene where
Well,
they're
I didn't
you know
ask for
really
this.
The
emoting
Keyblade
or
chooses its
something.
master,
Right.
and it chose you.
So tough luck.
How did all this
God,
happen?
Final Fantasy
I remember
sucks.
being in my room.
I just
Yeah.
Wait a minute. What happened to my home? My island? Riku!
Destroyed.
Kyrie, are you forgetting
what?
about someone?
I really don't know.
No.
Riku!
All right, that's gonna be it for this long episode. Goodbye, everyone.
Yeah. All right. So long.